guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be going through an updated version of my Ancient Gear deck for Edison format. Alright guys, and of course, if there's any cards that you see in here that you want to get yourself, be sure to use that TCG player link down below, because it does help out the channel. Starting off, we're going to have 3 copies of the Ancient Gear Beast. Now when we have Gear Town out, you don't even have to tribute for this card. You can just summon him right off the bat. And a nice 2000 is a monster not to mess with. Not only that, he does negate the effects of opponents' monsters destroyed in battle with this guy. So, avoid Raikou, super nimble Mega Hamster. Any of those recruiters as well. So Ancient Gear Beast, very versatile in the deck. Next up, we got our 3 copies of Gadgetron. Now when Gear Town gets sent to the graveyard, Gadgetron's going to be our big guy that we're going to be bringing out with that. Not only that, but with Mausoleum of the Emperor, it only takes 2,000 life points to summon him without a tribute. So, pretty good, pretty good. Not only that, 3,000, 2,000, so good monster to have in the deck, obviously. Next up, we got 2 copies of Cyber Dragon. Free summon if your opponent controls a monster. Not only that, if you're in a bind, you can always contact fuse into the Chimera Tech Fortress. So, 2 copies of Cyber Dragon. Good when you're in a bind, or even when you're in the mirror match. Next up, we got 3 copies of Machina Gear Frame. Gonna let you search out a Machina monster when normal summoned. Not only that, you can also use the Union effect and attach him to Machina Fortress, or I believe any other machine monster as well, to give a little layer of protection. So if it will be destroyed by battle or card effects, this gets destroyed instead. So 3 copies of Gear Frame, followed by 3 copies of Machina Fortress. Of course, you gotta have the big guy in there. Very easy to summon in this deck. Followed by 1 copy of Machina Force. Easy discard fodder for the Fortress. Next up, we have a card that I've been trying out in here that I really do like, which is 3 copies of Doom Caliber Knight. Now, he can't be special summoned, but when an effect monster activates their effect, you can tribute this off and negate it and destroy the monster. So, pretty good for disrupting your opponent. So, 3 copies of Doomcal. Moving on to the spells, we got our 3 copies of Gear Town. So, helps knock down a tribute for any of your Ancient Gear monsters. Not only that, when this is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So, easy way to get Gadgetron right out to the field. You could go for Ancient Gear Beast too. I mean, if you do have a need for that at that moment, you could always go that route. Then we got our 1 copy of Mausoleum of the Emperor. So you just pay 1,000 life points, and that knocks down 1 tribute for a monster. So if you have Gadgetron, for example, you pay 2,000. That takes away those 2 tributes, so you can normal summon him. Following up, we got 3 copies of Terraforming, so we can search out our Gear Town or Mausoleum, whichever one you feel that you need in the moment, I guess you could say. So 3 copies of Terraforming. Then we got 1 copy of Brain Control, 1 copy of Heavy Storm, 1 copy of Mystical Space Typhoon, and of course, since this is a machine deck, we got our 1 copy of Limiter Removal to double up the attack of all of our monsters, just in case, you're feeling a little OTK-ish. So 1 copy of that in there. Moving on to the traps, we got our 2 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole. We got our Call of the Haunted. We have 2 copies of Legacy of Yada. Just helps add a little bit more draw power to the deck. It is a little tough to get that going. So 2 copies of Legacy of Yada. We got 1 copy of Mirror Force. A copy of Solemn Judgment, because it's always good to just say no to your opponent. 2 copies of Raigeki Break. 1 copy of Torrential Tribute. And, of course, we got our 1 copy of Trap Dust Shoot, because hand knowledge is the best knowledge you could possibly have. And that's it for the main deck. It's 40 cards. Now moving on to the extra deck, the only card that is truly important is the first two cards, which would be the Chimeratech Fortress Dragon. So since you have Cyber Dragon in there, that way you can contact Fuse, or if your opponent has Cyber Dragon on the field, you can use their Cyber Dragon to contact Fuse as well. Now the rest of the cards in here, I mean, you could potentially side deck in a Future Fusion, and you could go for a Chimeratech Over Dragon. Or you could play Brain Control or side deck in any other tuners. So you can go into the Synchro monsters. You got Red Dragon Archfiend. You got Thought Ruler Archfiend. Of course, you have Stardust, Black Rose Dragon, Blackwing Armor Master, Yugioh Guardian, Brio, Blackwing Armed Wing, Magical Android, Ally of Justice Catastor, and Armory Arm. But of course, like I said, those are just kind of thrown in as placeholders as whatever. If you do end up getting one of your opponent's tuners, at least you have some versatility that you can use it. Or if you're side decking one in, you're able to use it as well for one of those extra deck monsters. Like I said, it's pretty much just the Fortress is going to be the main concern here, but you never want to go into a duel with just two cards in your extra deck. You want to just fill it out because you'd rather have it and not use it than to need it and not have it. But go ahead, comment down below. What do you guys think? What would you change? What kind of build would you do? If you want to check out some gameplay for this, I will have that up on my Patreon, which will be down below, as well as the TCG player link as well too. We will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye, and good night.